Hi and welcome everybody. I'm Sandy of Lolly and Sand, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to have fun. Like my little graphic said, we're using textures. We're going to have a bunch of different textures in the card, which I think will be a lot of fun. Now, if you're just joining me, I'm just going to get my computer lined up here. If you're just joining me, be sure to say hi. And if you're new, say I'm new and I'm from, you can say Canada, you can say the US, you can say wherever. You don't have to say I'm from this place on this street. Just kidding. Anyway, I'm just going to take 2 seconds. What a weekend. We had the biggest thunder boomers I have ever heard in my life. Biggest. It was scary crazy because the skies were clear and they were window rattlers. So wow. Anyway, I'm glad you joined me, and the weather's lovely today. It's just perfect, of course. Now, we're Canadians, so we talk about the weather a lot, don't we? Yeah. Alrighty. I also want to take a minute to say thank you so much for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys rock. Thank you. Oh my gosh. That, you have to set some kind of goals. That one was a little lofty, but with your help, got there. And I am doing a draw soon. Won't be tonight. Somebody's bouncing a ball upstairs. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey Rosemary. Hey Chris. Hey Chris, I sent you an email, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Anyway, why is this here? Well, because we're going to do our heat embossing first. We'll get that out of the way. So this is just one of the elements, one of the textures we're going to throw in. Now, when I say textures, I don't mean like it's so much that it's like overbearing. This is just nice and subtle, just the right mix. So let's get started. Hey, Bea. Hello, hello. Alrighty, I might not be able to see the comments. I might not. Okay, anyway, so we don't have this anymore. Too bad, because I still use mine. I wouldn't get rid of it. But this is what I use for my white embossing powder I have in a container. I haven't put this one in a container yet. I wouldn't be using this otherwise. Anyway, all right. Oh, there's Elsie. Hello. All right, let's get started. And this is we don't sell these anymore either. You can get them at your handy dandy craft store. Actually, I see a little piece there that I don't like. So this is our craft paper. The size doesn't matter because it's going to be die cut anyway. It's basically the scrap that got cut off. There. All right. Last week I had a little issue with my Versamark, and somebody accidentally forgot to clean her stamp before she put it in there. That says gratitude, I believe. So anyway, that's another thing. Make sure your stamps are clean. It's not going to affect the image at all. Watching from Connecticut. Awesome. Awesome. All right, and that should be good. Now, one thing I was wondering, I was playing around with some heat embossing this afternoon, and I was wondering if, like, let's say you did the Versamark, and then you walked away and you left it, and then came back to it. Would it dry and you wouldn't be able to do this? I don't know if anyone's ever run into that. If you're wondering why my black powder is a little bit chunky, it's because way back when Stampin' Up! Had black, I kept mine, even though it was discontinued. So I just pulled that back out. All right, so let's get rid of this. Try very hard to not get it on my desk. There. That should do it. And then very careful. All right, so we're going to heat emboss for like 2 seconds. Well, it'll be a little more than 2. I'll heat it up first. How's that? So this is from... That's probably not my best, but no worries. This is from Tidings and Trimmings. We did do a card with this, I don't know, a few weeks ago. We're using that. Wishing you a joyful Christmas and Happy New Year. I think it says it all. All right, so let's heat emboss. Hey Sherry, welcome. Alrighty. If I happen to miss your comments, don't worry. I will glance at them later. There we go. That didn't take long. That was easy. Oh, off all the way. Alrighty. And Elaine is from Manitoba. Awesome. Awesome. So I've already die cut. You remember this die? This is the die called Messages. And if I was going to die cut this right now, what I would do is I would take this piece off, because to me this is still useful for something smaller. So if I was, and I know I use this one because it fits perfectly. So let's pretend we've die cut that. And, you know, I put it somewhere. I will find it. Okay, we don't need that die. Or we will, oh, there it is. There it is. Ta-da! So this turned into that. Perfect. And it's just one of our many textures. So I'm going to set that right there. This is, by the way, well, you have a little leeway today, tomorrow, a couple days to get in on my kit night. The team is doing a kit night, and we're opening up our social stamping evening, which is usually just for stamping inspiration team members, but we're opening that up to anyone who purchases a kit from any of, like, myself or any of the other leaders, any of the other ladies part of the team. So that would be fun. All right, let's get to it. So this is the, let me think about it, Penguin, it's on the other side, Penguin Playmate DSP, and I've cut it to 4 5 1/4. So here's our card. This is my standard. It's the whole front's going to be covered up, so you're not going to see that anyway. 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and it's sitting pretty good right now. But there, now it's better. This is more of the craft paper because I wanted to tie that in, and this is actually cut to the exact same size as the card, totally covered up. So let me just put this on first. We'll do some gluing, and then we'll do some of this and some of that. Do you ever think there's like a bug or something like right in front of you? If anyone else experiences floaters in their eyes, so annoying because it's following around my glue. So it's not a bug, it's a floater. I think I glued my fingers a little. Now, I like to stamp when I'm doing something like full. Let me get rid of the glue. When I'm doing something that's full, I like to keep moving it around and make sure that it's edge to edge. This is one of our textures, so it's our rustic kind of texture. Now this clearly doesn't have a texture, and that's a little bit, it's a beautiful piece of paper. Like I love the trees. And to me, you can use this, like this whole card that I'm making, other than the embossing folder maybe, just change a couple things, change the sentiment on it, and you have an any day kind of card. So this, what I did is I cut another piece and I ran it through the Merriest Frames hybrid folder. So I did that, ran it through, and we have this now. So this is clearly a different look. So there's some more of our textures. And it even comes right down to these little stars. They're hard to see, but they are there. Now, I need to remind myself not to glue this on because we're going to put the ribbon on. But in the meantime, can I put that? Nope, I'd have to put the ribbon on first. Yes, had to think about it. Okay. It's always, there's some order to it. You know, when you're making it yourself, meh. Alrighty. So, let's see how well we do with bows tonight. You know what I always find, and I don't know if you're like this too, when I make a bow, if I want it to sit properly, like say I have a direction I want it to go, I have to do it upside down. Upside down. I'm just going to play with this right about here. This is the, what is this stuff? This is the crinkled seam binding, and it's in white. Now, what I'm not liking is this is twisting, so I'm going to fix that. It's not one of the textures we're looking for, but if you look at this crinkle ribbon, it is one of our textures. I'm not counting, by the way. I think I said, like, how many textures will we use? Well, I don't know. Not till we count them when we're done. Alrighty, so we'll just make a little bunny bow. Oh, come on, come to Sandy. There we go. Uh-oh, I pulled the wrong one. Still can recap. We can still get it. Alrighty. Oh, that's too long, obviously. So let's see, pull on this side. There we go. So what I'm just gonna do a rough cut for now. And I keep freezing. Rats. Carol, could you just refresh your screen and see if that stops? Is anyone else having that same problem? Oh, yes, Sandy, I did make it to 1,000 at the very beginning. I did mention that. So like, it's like, I was like, what? I was like super happy. Now what's my goal going to be? 2,000? Probably. I know, I'm still playing with the bow. Because this is on DSP and not something thicker, I don't want to pull really hard on it because I don't want it to rip the DSP. Again, we will cut those ends after. Okay, but I got that on. I didn't forget. Here's another one of our textures. And I'll show you where it came from. It's just easier to show you this way. Okay, so remember this. This is the Merriest, oh, rats. Merriest Moments bundle. Well, and there's a stamp set. And because the embossing folder I used is part of this, I used this piece right here to cut out the basic white, and it just happens to fit right here, which is exactly, it's the right size. And that's pretty cool. So we'll get rid of that. I always figure a visual is better than me just saying it. Okay, now we can do some gluing. Now, let me just think. Nope, I think we're good. I can still maneuver that if I need to. This is such cute paper, like such cute paper. And it is kind of cute, actually. You know what? I'm just looking at it. I don't know who's stomping around up there. It's really cute paper. So if you're the type that says, I don't like cutesy paper, well, you have to consider there's two sides, which is pretty cool. Now, by the way, did I give you I did not give you the measurements, did I? 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, and this piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which would be the size of the card front. So I'm just going to lay that down nice and light, and then we'll do a little maneuvering. I am not one of those people that can get this right the first time. Like I still have to play with it a bit. That's too far over. We have a little wiggle time left. You don't have a ton of time, but there you go. It's bugging me. There. Okay. Glue down, stay put. There. Okay. Now we can put this piece on. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to do the exact same thing I did. I'll show you what I did when I made the card and then changed my mind, because there's always a way around things, right? So is this the right side and the wrong side? I think this feels like the right side. I wanted to mention, so this is just a scrap as well. This is basic white. And what you want to do is do your die cutting first and then emboss, because what will happen is if you emboss then die cut, it'll go over and take a bunch of your texture away. And you don't want that. You want your texture. All right, so we don't need too many of these. Oh, now I have too many in my hands, of course. But we'll put one back, because you can put them back there. And I could use my Take Your Pick tool, which is right beside me, but no, fingernails are working tonight. Alrighty. And internet is kind of funny, like really funny. Sometimes it's like straight on. I never know if it's Facebook or what's causing it. All right, so right. Wow, did we get it straight? I did get it straight. Yay. Alrighty, that's another piece of texture. Now, a few weeks ago, I used, let's get rid of that. I used the whimsical trees, and I'm still loving these little trees, by the way. Are we still working, by the way? Is everything good? I don't see comments moving, so I'm like, uh-oh. I might have to, nope, it looks like it's moving. Looks like it's moving. Yeah. All right, so anyway, a little more texture. And the reason I say there's texture is because, is that one upside down? Yep. Is because of the little lines in the tree. So this is from Whimsical Trees, and I use 2 different sizes. So these 2 are the same, and this one's just a teeny bit smaller. So I'm just going to glue those straight down, and I'm wondering, did I have to cut the ends off? I think I did, and I will, just a little bit. All good here? Good, good, good? Okay, good. I have to talk to my IT guy again. See if we can work it out. A little bit off that one. I'm doing that off camera, but I'll just show you. I'm just taking like this, whoops, just to keep the little pieces down. I'm going to use a little bit of glue, not too much, and just kind of, I think I'm going to start, yeah, I'll start with this one. It's funny when you've made the card in advance, like, which is unusual for me. Oh, I'm just reading your message, Rosemary. Too involved watching you. That's okay. That's okay. As long as it's all working, we're good. Yeah, you tend to forget how you made them. I do have my sample card, which in this particular case, I wanted to keep everything the same. I looked at other papers and went, yeah, no, I'm sticking with this one. All right, so I may have to cut this little end off a little bit more. You don't want your trees the same height. That's boring, right? So, oh, and slippery. This is the Pearlescent paper. Oh, I always do forget to tell you things, don't I? I just go making things. So this is craft, again, bringing the craft together. This is the Pearlescent paper. So this is in the mini. This is in the annual. And then this is the Evening Evergreen. It's one of the new ink colors. I like that. Okay. So I always just do a little bit at a time. Eek. Now you remember that thing where you're like, you don't pour the vanilla over top of what you're using in case. Same thing with the glue, just in case. So I did move that at the last second. Okay, not the same height. A little bit different. Alrighty. Okay, we're not even done, by the way. It looks like we're getting close, but there's more. Trust me, there's more. So let's put these guys on with dimensionals. So far we've popped up this layer, and now we're doing the sentiment as well. Alrighty, let's put that on. Oops, to-do. All right, I just need to get the bow out of the way a bit. I'm gonna mostly center that on there. I know I said centered, the word that I don't use very often, but I am centering. Oh, I'm gonna put that a little bit higher. It's like, how long does it take to put one little thing on? And I didn't put, I just thought for a second I was putting it on upside down, and I didn't. Whew! So it's getting there. So I'll show you one more thing that I did before I changed the card. Yeah, I did. Okay, so these are the red rhinestones, and I just thought it needed a little pizzazz, just a little bit, going on. So I put one here. For some reason, I didn't want to put it out here. I felt like everything's small, and it just felt right. I do test them. I put them here, here, here. You probably do the same thing. You test them and decide what looks best. I'm still using an odd number. It's just we didn't make a triangle, technically. Okay, this is how my original card looked. Well, of course, I trimmed these. But I was like, yeah, no, we're not there yet. So I decided I would then put a second, did I knot it? No, I made a second bow to add more texture. I added a second bow and did not cut it. So I'm going to slide that underneath. So this is the, you thought your card was finished section, and then you decided to add more. Because this is actually, this card is going in my Positive Inkers, just one sec, Positive Inkers Global Design Team blog hop, which is actually live tomorrow. So my blog won't go live until tomorrow with this in it. And I do hope you take a look at all the cards. Our theme wasn't texture. Our theme was celebration. Oh, by the way, this is a celebration paper, the Penguin Playmate, and it is free with a $60 product order. Let's close that just a little bit, and then we're going to trim that. I think it was Sherry last week that mentioned my wonky bows, and it's perfectly okay. I meant to do that. So yeah, I'm just going to give this a wee trim. And again, I don't want everything the same length. That's just the way I do things. So at that point, I thought, yeah, no, it's still not done. This was my thought process. It is not done. And then what happened was the dog started barking like crazy. And I'm like, why are they barking? What's going on up there? And this package arrived. It had my kit for kit night, and it had my bedazzling paper. And I did post with the bedazzling paper. I did a little video, but I couldn't get the darn thing uploaded. So I'll show you what I did. Check that out. Like, that is crazy. This is thick paper, by the way. Obviously one-sided. I don't need to turn that over. And I have to say, a little is going to go a long way. So I decided the card needed a little bit of dazzle. So this is actually, it's kind of rustic looking, but it's okay. It's okay. I went with, let's see, that's 1/2 inch, so that's 1/4 inch. Now I have to say, it didn't make adding it to the card easy. All right, so that cut beautifully. And what I wanted to do was go across the card. It doesn't have to go all the way across. So I think I cut it about there. So this is my Stampin' Trimmer, just so you, not just, this is my Stampin' Trimmer. There we go. So I have 2 pieces. So that piece is 1/4 inch by 6 inches because the paper is 6 by 6. So I went, okay, let's put this on. And looky what I found. I did some major, I'm always saying this, I did some major, like, let's get all my embossing folders together. I tend to leave them here and there. I'm really bad for that. Hate to admit it. This is still snail. And because I found my silicone pad, I can do this and know that it's not sticking to my desk. How cool is that? There we go. All right. So I'm going to slide it under here. Let's see how far we can slide it. Right about there. And I will try to, yep, that word, center it. There we go. And the ribbon can come down just a little bit. It can cover it just a little bit. We have some dazzle going on. Then I went, hey, I have that little piece. I can't waste that. Ah, Sandy's question. Is it crusty to cut like, what? Is it crusty to cut like glimmer paper? You know, it's going to dull your blade, I can tell you that. Yeah, I love this. I love this. I hope I answered your question properly, Sandy. Sometimes I'm a little daft when it comes to reading on the fly. So I wonder if that little piece would fit right there. Now I believe, yeah, I think I used my tweezers to get this under here. And it depends on where you put. Now, if you're making this card, and I hope you do, if you're making this card, don't put your dimensionals right up at the very top because you won't be able to slide that in. And I think I had to do a little maneuvering. But see the difference? I just added a little bit. Not the whole 9 yards. We're not covering the whole paper. I know some people have, and I find that just, I'm not a girl that's flash, you know. I'm not. I am using my tweezers to move the ribbon down ever so slightly. Oop, but don't wreck the bowl while you're doing it. So that, oops, now that looks sloppy. I will play with this a little bit, you can tell. I always do that. And I'd say it pretty much looks like the original. Like, check out that dazzle. Like, that's crazy. Crazy, man. I'm totally enamored with this now that I have it, and now that I know I don't have to cover. Yep, it's just a dash. It's like I'm not wearing a diamond this big, you know. I don't know anybody actually that has them that big, but yeah, Rosemary's right. Not a lot of sparkle, just enough. And there you go. And wowie, wowie. Alrighty. So I will read all your comments after. Oh, I can't believe we're under half an hour. Wait, I must have more to say. What did I miss? Let me see what I missed. I gave it, did I forget anything? Oh yeah, textures. Oh, so let's count them. So we have our craft paper. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the way I see it. Oh, 9 if you count these guys, because to me that's texture. You know, that's, you've added another dimension to the card. So it's popped up. I guess popping up is not, it's not a texture. But anyway, there we are. My next video, of course, it will be next Tuesday, which is September. Tomorrow is September. Oh my goodness. So right after the long weekend, September the 7th, I'm going to say 8 a.m. No, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for your shares. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your YouTube subscribes. If you haven't, please subscribe. As always, I'm going to add all the important links in after the video, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube, but I'm not going to make the blog live until tomorrow when it's scheduled to go live at 8 a.m. With the blog hop. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, I'm going to say bye-bye. Have a great week.